What would happen if you stopped performing your discipline? If you stopped posting the 5 a.m. alarm, stopped narrating the green juice, stopped curating the evidence that you are trying, would anything actually change in your body, in your life, in the way people experience you? Here is what most women never discover. The routines that reshape how others perceive you are precisely the ones no one will ever see. They are not dramatic. They are not photogenic. They do not belong on a vision board. They are invisible, and they are everything. A routine is not a schedule. A schedule tells you where to be. A routine tells you who to become, quietly, repeatedly, until the becoming stops being effort and starts being identity. The woman who walks into a room and shifts the air around her, she is not more disciplined than you. She is not more motivated. She has simply replaced the routines that perform effort with the routines that produce it. What follows are 8 routines, not morning hacks, not life optimizations. 8 invisible practices that accumulate into an unmistakable presence, the kind other people feel before they can name. The first routine is invisible because it happens in the space between someone speaking and you answering. Most people fill silence the instant it arrives. A question lands, and they are already talking, not because what they are saying is urgent, but because silence feels like failure, like being caught, like not knowing enough, being enough, caring enough. But watch a woman who pauses. She hears the question. She lets it arrive. She takes a breath, one full breath, and then she responds, not with the first thing that came to mind, with the thing she actually means. That pause changes everything about how she is perceived. People lean forward when she speaks because her words have weight. They trust her answers because those answers were chosen, not erupted. She does not rush to prove she is clever or engaged or present. Her presence is already evident in the silence she holds with comfort. This is not about being slow. It is about being deliberate. The pause is only 2 or 3 seconds long, but in a room full of people reacting, 2 seconds of composure reads as authority. Start practicing this tomorrow. When someone asks you a question, count 1 breath before you answer. You will notice something immediately. People start listening to you differently. Not because you became wiser, because you became still enough to let the wisdom arrive. The second routine happens at the end of the day when no one is watching and the phone is face down on the nightstand. It takes 5 minutes. That is all. But the woman who does it carries herself differently than the woman who does not. She asks herself 3 questions. Not in a journal with a leather cover. She does not need props for this. She simply lies still and turns each question over, the way you turn a stone in your hand to feel its weight. What did I say yes to today that I should have declined? This question traces the edges of her boundaries. Over time, the yesies she regrets become the map of her limits, and she stops crossing them. What did I avoid noticing? This one is harder. It names the conversations she ducked, the feelings she outran, the small truths she stepped around because they were inconvenient. Noticing what she avoids becomes the practice of no longer avoiding it. Where did I trust myself? This is the question that builds. Not where did I doubt, that path leads to noise, but where did I trust? This reveals the moments she already moved from a place of authority. And each time she finds one, she strengthens it for tomorrow. 5 minutes. 3 questions. The woman who reviews her day does not repeat it. She refines it. And after a month, the refinement is visible in the decisions she makes faster, in the peace she carries in her eyes, in the way other people sense that she is paying attention to something most people ignore. The third routine is a decision made once every single morning. It is the 1 allowance rule. And it works like this. Each day you choose one thing that gets your full, undivided attention. Not a to-do list of 12 priorities, not a color-coded calendar. One thing, and you give that one thing your complete presence. No phone, no background tabs, no mental rehearsing of the next task while the current one is still happening. The effect of this is not merely productivity. That word belongs to a language this woman has stopped speaking. The effect is coherence. When a woman has given her full attention to one thing, it shows in the quality of that thing, but more importantly, it shows in the quality of her. Her eyes are clearer. Her voice is steadier. The people around her feel attended to, even if she only had 15 minutes to give. Because full attention is the rarest currency in a world that has confused distraction with busyness. A woman who can give 15 minutes of real presence gives more than someone who offers an hour of fractured, partial attention divided between their coffee, their screen, and their anxiety about the next meeting. The 1 allowance rule is not a productivity hack. It is a presence practice. And over the weeks and months, the accumulation of single-pointed days changes how others experience her. They cannot name what is different. They simply feel that when she is with them, she is actually with them, and that feeling is magnetic. The fourth routine may be the hardest because it requires restraint in the exact moment when restraint feels impossible. It is the practice of the unsent message, the text you write and do not send, the reply you draft and then delete, the defense you compose at midnight and refuse to post. Every woman knows the urge. Someone misreads you. Someone crosses a line. Someone says something dismissive in a meeting, and the heat rises, and your fingers are already moving. You will set this right. You will be understood. You will not let this go unchallenged. But the woman whose presence shifts rooms has learned something about that heat. She has learned that it does not need an audience, that the act of writing the response is often enough to drain the urgency from it, that most things we are desperate to say at 11 at night read differently by morning, smaller, less necessary, sometimes mildly embarrassing. So she writes. She lets the words move through her fingers, and then she stops. She does not hit send. She lets the feeling complete its arc without requiring another person to receive it. This routine changes how people see her in a way that is almost impossible to overstate. The woman who does not react impulsively, who is not always available for confrontation, who does not turn every misunderstanding into a transaction, becomes unknowable in the best way. People cannot predict her reactions, and so they give her more space. They assume she is thinking more deeply than they are. They hesitate before pushing because they have learned that she will not be dragged into noise. She is not suppressing emotion. She is choosing its venue, and the restraint becomes its own kind of authority. The fifth routine is the one most people skip entirely because it sounds physical when it is actually psychological. It is this. Each day, take 10 minutes to move your body with attention. Not a punishing workout you document for social proof. Not a class you attend so you can say you attended. 10 minutes of movement that belongs to no one but you, stretching, walking, breathing with purpose, holding a posture until it stops shaking. The purpose is not fitness. The purpose is rehearsal. You are rehearsing the feeling of inhabiting your own body deliberately. Most women live from the neck up, managing, thinking, processing, reacting, while the body carries them like luggage they keep forgetting to pick up. And other people feel this disconnection. They cannot name it, but they register it as a certain kind of absence. The woman who is not in her body gives off a quality of being elsewhere, even when she is standing right in front of you. But the woman who moves with attention, who knows the length of her own exhale, who has felt what it means to hold a position and then release it, who has practiced the slow coordination of breath and limb, she enters a room differently. Her feet are on the floor. Her shoulders sit where they belong. She does not apologize for taking up space because she has practiced occupying it. 10 minutes. Every day. The mounting effect is invisible until it is unmistakable. After a few months, people will tell you something has changed. They will ask about your posture, your calm, your energy, all words for the same thing. You will have moved into your own body, and they will feel it before they understand it. The sixth routine is small enough to seem insignificant, and that is exactly why it works. Each week, make one small improvement to something visible. One thing, not a renovation, an edit. The hem that has been hanging loose, finally stitched. The email signature that has been generic for months, replaced with something that actually sounds like you. The lamp in the corner that casts the wrong light, moved 2 feet to the left. This routine is not about aesthetics, though aesthetics are where it begins. It is about a relationship with your own environment. The woman who tolerates the flickering bulb, the chipped cup, the drawer that sticks, she is rehearsing a belief. This is good enough for now. And good enough for now has a way of becoming permanent. But the woman who tends to her environment, who makes one small correction each week, who refuses to live inside low-level neglect, she is practicing something else entirely. She is practicing the belief that she is worth tending to, that her daily experience should be coherent, not just functional, and this practice accumulates. After a year, she is the woman whose space feels considered, whose things appear intentional, who does not own more, but whose ownership is more deliberate. People walk into her home or her office and sense that someone with taste and attention has curated this space, even if they cannot point to any single expensive thing. The single improvement is not a decorating philosophy. It is a self-respect practice, and the woman who does it weekly carries herself like someone who has been paying attention because she has. The seventh routine is perhaps the most countercultural because it asks you to stop doing something that everyone around you has been trained to admire. Stop consuming reaction. Stop reading every comment. Stop tracking every opinion about you, real or imagined. Stop knowing the thing that was said about you in a room you were not in. This is not ignorance. Ignorance is not knowing because you never looked. This is selection, choosing what enters your mind the way you choose what enters your home. You would not let a stranger walk through your front door and rearrange your furniture. And yet, every day, women allow the opinions of acquaintances, algorithms, and distant strangers to rearrange the inside of their heads. The woman with a selective ear has not stopped caring what people think. She has stopped caring what most people think. She has identified the few voices that matter, 2, 3, maybe 4 people whose perspectives she respects, and she consults those voices deliberately. Everyone else's commentary passes through like weather. She hears it, but she does not store it. This routine changes how she is perceived because it changes how she responds. She does not react to every shift in the room. She does not drift toward the loudest opinion. She has an inner compass that was not built by consensus, and people sense that. They sense that her confidence is not performance, it is architecture. It was built with care, and it does not sway in wind that was never meant for her. Practice this by choosing 3 people whose opinions you will carry. Write their names down. Everything else, let it be information, not instruction. The 8th and final routine is the one that holds all the others together, because discipline without exit is not discipline, it is self-punishment. Each day, at a time you choose, say goodbye to something. Not something permanent, this is not minimalism as identity. Say goodbye to a feeling that has overstayed, to a plan that no longer fits, to a version of today that did not go the way you imagined. The invisible goodbye is the practice of releasing. The woman who accumulates routines without releasing what they replace becomes brittle. She holds too much, too many commitments, too many versions of the person she was supposed to be today, too many tiny grievances packed into the corners of her week like boxes she keeps meaning to unpack but never does. So each evening, she lets one thing go. Not dramatically, not with a social media post about letting go. Silently, in the space between the last thing she did and the first thing she will do tomorrow, she drops something. A resentment that felt justified in the morning and now just feels heavy. An expectation she carried all day and did not meet. She sets it down, not because failing is fine, but because carrying it into tomorrow serves nothing. The invisible goodbye is what keeps the other 7 routines sustainable. Because the woman who pauses, reviews, focuses, restrains, moves, improves, filters, she is doing a lot. And if she does not release the weight of each day, the rituals that once felt like freedom begin to feel like obligation. She whispers goodbye to what is finished. And in that whisper, she makes room for what is next. 8 routines. Not one of them will ever be seen by anyone else. No one will applaud you for pausing before you speak. No one will post about your evening review. No one will know that you chose one thing to focus on, wrote an unsent message, moved your body for 10 minutes, fixed the hem on a Tuesday, stopped reading that comment thread, or whispered goodbye to a feeling that was no longer serving you. And that is precisely the point. The routines that change how people see you are the ones that change who you are when no one is looking. They accumulate silently, daily, without fanfare, until one day someone asks you what is different, and you will think about it, and you will not be able to name a single dramatic moment, because there was no single moment. There were 1,000 mornings of choosing the invisible thing over the performative thing. 1,000 evenings of letting go when you could have held on. 1,000 small refusals to let noise substitute for substance. You will not be able to point to a day when it shifted, but they will feel it. The room will feel it. You will walk in, and something about you will read as clear, steady, intentional, and they will not know what to call it. You will know. It has a name. It is called practice. Thank you for watching. If you're ready to become the woman you've been practicing, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.